Late. I want to make sure that OBS itself is still working. Because what is it? There's actually a lighting issue on my end. I wonder if other people are experiencing it. Any other random user that is not me experience that. Okay, at least I updated. Besides that, what is it? Eh, just me getting used to double checking everything. So this got fogged up just because I wore them. And cam, chat, page, OBS, internet connection, hydrate. Interesting, it actually started flickering now. So currently I'm just gonna not read the wiki page. I am just going to discuss it while I'm moving around just to see the flickering. Because it does have to do with interference, but not exactly when there is something that's already connected, but something it captures. So I found that very interesting. However, it could still be related to interference, but you know. Yeah. Alright, so what? Active mobility. I actually was just spending most of the time wondering what is the active mobility beneficial, not just for individuals, not for citizens, the people and community, but rather for commercial goods, services. What I learned is, well, besides creating a lot more people not using the road, so there's a lot more people that are moving away from roads and stuff. Yeah, it started flickering. I was gonna point it whenever I see something occurring. Yeah. So, what is it? Yeah, having a lot more people, not be stuck in traffic jams, no congestion, car congestion, wait times, long commutes. No, less cars in the road for individuals means that there will be a lot of road space that people can easily just drive just to their destination and then back without any delays. For all, no traffic. No traffic means a lot versus what's it trying to drive while working 9 to 5 because to experience 2 rush hours. Yeah, that's pretty much a bummer. Besides that, the other thing to look at would actually be just infrastructure. Figure that since people are looking for an infrastructure for active mobility, lifestyle, making this lifestyle change, well, they have to have the infrastructure to do that to make it easier, no accidents, better transportation, and it being less political. Um, so, some of the things I stated is my own suggestion. So, yeah. Couldn't find any concrete proof in this page, so that stinks. But yeah, I do believe that for the US example, the Department of Transportation would fund the infrastructure and would try to work with local, state, along with national slash federal governments. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All right, so it looks like it just only not flickered, but lower the brightness, like minutes ago and stuff. So that is the stuff, but what about this stuff I'm holding? This water bottle, this black water bottle. It's going to create some issues. Because I realized that when I was drinking water, it actually started. Yeah. The... Ah. I made it. I made it flicker. Come on. Still no okay. I try to make it flicker. It doesn't. When I don't want it, then it does. It senses fear. Maybe that's what it is. Well, anywho, pretty much that's what I just wanted to talk about active mobility. I figure I'd just go to the sources, other wiki pages to read about. There's one about car dependency, which revolves not just with active mobility, goes against it, but sedentary lifestyle. So we're still under that lifestyle trend. Besides that, what is it? Yeah, there's a hyperlinks that I still want to read briefly about. One of them is health indicators. Under this paragraph, public policies promoting active mobility tend to improve health indicators by increasing the levels of physical fitness and reducing the rates of obesity and diabetes, whilst also reducing the consumption of fossil fuels and consequent carbon emissions. So the health indicators, because I do wonder if in these health indicators, who sees a large importance of it? Who sees it? Organizations, individuals? Is this something measurable? And is this something that people have any knowledge of? Something that, people keep record offhand? Or is it just a un, unachievable goal? So, an idea. Interesting because with fitness, that's you want to see accountability. Just show results. Alrighty. Health indicator. Health indicators are quantifiable characteristics of a researchers use as supporting evidence for describing the health of a population. Typically, researchers will use a survey methodology to gather information about certain people, use statistics in an attempt to generalize the information collected to the entire population, and then use the statistical analysis to make a statement about the health of the population. Health indicators are often used by governments to guide healthcare policy. Yeah, contents, example, application characteristics, list of health indicators. I'm gonna briefly skim through 4. Then was it 5, 6, and 7 are resources. So 5 organizations. I'll just skim through that. So examples, characteristics. I just read 1 through 3. After all, it's not much. Example. A common example of health indicators is life expectancy. A government might have a system for collecting information on each certain age on each citizen's age at the time of death. This data about age of death at death can be used to support statements about the national life expectancy, in which case life expectancy would be a quote health indicator. Life expectancy may be one of many quote health indicators which collectively researchers would use to describe the health of a population of the country. Applications. Health indicators are commonly used to guide public health policy. Okay. Characteristics. A health indicator which will be used internationally to describe global health should have the following characteristics. It should be defined in such a way that it can be measured uniformly internationally. It must have statistical fidelity, val, val, validity. Okay, I don't have to search up the pronunciation. Validity. 3. The indicator must be data which can feasibly. Yeah, got it. Let me say it again. Visibly. Visibly. Yeah, it still sounds wrong in my mind because my pronunciation is not that different. Not that different versus physically. But they do end up sounding the same, so yeah. Data which can visibly be collected. 4. The analysis of the data must result in a recommendation on which people can make changes to improve health. List of health indicators. Health indicators are required in order to measure the health status of people and communities. Crude, life, infant, maternal, proportional, morbidity, incident, prevalence incidents, others, health status, arthritis, diabetes, asthma. Okay. I'm surprised that this is status versus just conditions, but these are related to a certain person's health, not that if they're diagnosed. Disability, nutritional, okay, social, mental health system indicators, health determinant organizations, yeah, health metrics network, Institute of Health Metrics and Evaluation. So what we have learned here is this health indicator is mainly for organizations, programs just to measure, quantifiable in data. Yeah, it could be all from what the? Is it start flickering? I'll be damned. So it is health indicators for researchers to people who is just writing notes in paper to share it to another colleague in order for them to share it to another colleague in order for them to process documentation. It's bureaucracy. But yeah, addition, this active mobility is really something important for people in general, not just for individuals. Which, yeah. Just goes to show how now, like in the 2010s, they started wrapping it up a lot more. but then I can say it's biased because I just remember a lot of info back in the 2010s. Plus, it's just been recent compared to like to 2000s or 90s. Even though, what was it? In the 90s, a lot of people were starting to take up recreational exercises, what we would consider modern, like dancing, meditations, and martial arts. Well, anywho, let's go under. I figured card dependency. The human transport. Interesting. Probably go for that next time. Automobile. 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 Mobile. Mobile. Bill. Okay, so this is actually tomato. I heard some people say automobile in the U.S., but in the U.S. mainly people just say automobile. Well, other than being cars, man. Even the hyperlinks say car dependency, not automobile. All right. Automobile dependency or car dependency is the concept that some city layouts cause automobiles to be favored over alternative forms of transportation such as bicycles, public transit, and walking. So yeah, this paragraph actually showcases what this wiki page is. It is referring to not the standard definition or others, but it just tells you just one concept, which is city layouts. So car dependency in this case, in this Wikipedia page, is it's referring to the city layouts are in favor for automobiles, so people are dependent in their cars versus other forms of transportation like walking, bicycling, commuting, or public transit. I usually just say commuting, but you know that can refer to any form of transportation while a person is doing it on a regular basis. Ah, I see a flicker once I was drinking water. Maybe water is affecting the lens. Huh? Actually, you know what? Let me actually do this. Alrighty. Ooh. We got a graph. It's a PNG graph. Whoa. Alrighty. Yeah. You're in the vicious cycle of reinforced automobile dependency and induced travel demand. Okay, so let's just go here. Increased car traffic, increase of emissions, degradation of cities, automobile-oriented land use planning, increase of distances, increase of vehicle ownership, auto-oriented planning, marginalization of alternative modes. So first off, this actually confused me at first until I started thinking about it. So anybody confused? It's just referring to how a lot of forms of transportation, like it said in the end of the paragraph, bicycling, public transit, walking, is being less a good alternative versus cars. And it's just referring to the automobile infrastructure or the planning for that infrastructure in that space is not taking account on this because there's a large demand, because vehicle ownership, which is caused by further distances, which people will need cars, and that because of that it has to do with the land use because of what is it, automobile oriented transport planning versus land use planning. This is another form of planning where they're utilizing space. So I believe this would be around the construction part area, because what's it, construction it is a sucker. But you know what, this is just me just thinking about all this without even reading the page. So I'll get back to this and see if there's anything new. Besides that, let me finish it up. Degradation of cities and suburbanization. Yeah, that's actually a bit challenging from going backward. Well, this is the land use planning is being planned and used, mainly because they need to fix the infrastructure, especially when it comes to suburbia, not having good roads, because that's one of the faults. It's maintenance, so they have to think of this for lands. And what is it? The degradation just comes from the increase of emission, other accidents, stuff like that. So it damages these roads, it damages these infrastructures, not for it to be reliant. And then, this is caused by the increased car traffic, which later there's a lot of car traffic because people just don't take other forms of transportation. Therefore, the cycle continues. What I find very confusing is that without it being numbered, I always wonder where should I go, because I just started here and just made my way back, but it doesn't work. And I mean, it's understandable if you just follow the arrows. So whatever you read, you got to follow those arrows on too. But I sort of believe that the circle doesn't really go that way. That's my belief of a vicious cycle. And what is fascinating is that with the vicious cycle, it could go forwards or backwards, clockwise, counterclockwise. So clockwise here, counterclockwise there. So was it clockwise is right, counterclockwise is left. But for this case, if it's not really a vicious cycle, then if you try to actually go backwards or something is reverted or delayed, the cycle can crumble apart. So that does make me do wonder about this whole idea about cars dependency, or people can revert. So a good example is the delay of increase of emissions. Well, there's going to be large degradation, which means that the cycle will be pretty slowed down. If it is a vicious cycle, it will still continue, but it's just delayed. So it shows that it's not entirely unchangeable. It got delayed. But that's my belief. I'll talk more about it once I finish this wiki page. Anywho, spent the time on this graph. This one, barely. Traffic in Los Angeles. There's always congestion. There's always delay. Now for contents. Alrighty. So 6 through 9 are just resources. See also notes and references, bibliography, external links. So this one has notes. I haven't seen this for a while. Now contents. Overview. 2. Negative externalities of automobile. 3. Addressing the issue. 4. Urban sprawl and smart growth. 5. The paradox of intensification. Wonder what that is. Overview. In many modern cities, automobiles are convenient and sometimes necessary to move easily. When it comes to automobile use, there is a spiraling effect where traffic congestion produces the demand for more and bigger roads and removal of impediments to traffic flow. For instance, pedestrians, signalized crossings, traffic lights, cyclists, and various forms of street-based public transit, such as trams. If you don't know, the trams are those English electric cars, which it's not exclusive in England. They had it in old US and Europe. I believe also in Asia, like in Thailand. I'm not sure. let me finish this and then I search up triumphs in Thailand. These measures make automobile use more pleasurable and adventurous? Okay, sure. Pleasurable and adventurous at the expense of other modes of transport, so greater traffic volumes are induced. Okay, so driving a car or regular 9 to 5 stuck in commute is adventurous. Okay. Additional, the urban design of cities adjusted to the needs of automobiles in terms of movement and space. Buildings are replaced by parking lots, open air shopping streets are replaced by enclosed shopping malls, walk in banks and fast food stores are replaced by drive in versions of themselves that are inconveniently by drive-in versions of themselves that are inconveniently located for pedestrians. Town centers with a mixture of commercial, retail, and entertainment functions are replaced by single-function business parks. Quote category killer and quote retail boxes and quote multiplex and quote entertainment complexes, each surrounded by large contracts of parking. These kinds of environments require automobiles to access them, thus inducing even more traffic onto the increased road space. This results in congestion, and the cycle above continues. Roads got even bigger, consuming even greater tracts of land previously used for housing, manufacturing, and other socially and economically useful purposes. Public transit becomes less and less viable and socially stigmatized. That was stagnate. Less and less viable and socially stigmatized, eventually becoming a minority form of transportation. People's choices and freedoms to live functional lives without the use of a car are greatly reduced. Such cities are automobile dependent. Automobile dependency is seen primarily as an issue of environmental sustainability due to the consumption of non renewable resources and the production of greenhouse gases responsible for global warming. It is also an issue of social and cultural sustainability. Like gated communities, the private automobile produces physical separation between people and reduces opportunities for unstructured social encounters that is a significant aspect of social capital formation and maintenance in urban environments. Oh, wow. Yeah, the overview actually explains the graph. Along with all this, was actually brushed aside urban design. Oh boy, I got a lot of things about that. And also this. Yeah, talks about the social economics, sociology, and psychology of the car privilege. Huh, that's interesting. No, anyway, yeah, I know that there's a large parts in the U.S., especially in even solely different states where it's car dependent. Car dependent. Wow. No, 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 you don't have really a car. You are very limited in what you can do. Not just things, but like even basic necessities or services, like going to a doctor. Uh, you would need a car or use an automobile like taxi, Uber nowadays to just get there. That's a big thing when it comes to the elderly population in the U.S. because they're usually the people who need to commute the most to medical. Alrighty. So, this is what I discovered. Yeah, an old picture, but also a modern one, which looks very close to the modern ones they have in the UK. but they're not exactly called trams. Anywho, I'll get to this wiki page another time. Besides that, so long.